this is Cynthia, your voice coach. Today you are going to pick up some speaking tips from the experts. And who the expert is? I have the privilege to interview the 2001 World Champion of Public Speaking, and he is Darren LaCroix. The first question I would like to ask Darren is about humor. Now, many of you may think, can I be humorous? So let's hear from Darren.
Thank you, Cynthia. I actually believe that yes, anyone can learn this. There are some people who are born funny. They're naturally funny. They use it as they're growing up on a regular basis, so they're honing their skills. Even though they weren't taught it, they actually learned it by doing it and making it a focus when they're young. So they appear to be perfectly natural, but actually it was nurtured, in my opinion, during their life. Now there's other people just like me, and maybe you, that was never funny, was never considered funny. Nobody ever said to me, you should be a comedian. It was, if you know my story, I was driving down the road listening to Brian Tracy, and he said, what would you dare to dream if you knew you wouldn't fail? And I thought, I'd be a comedian. How cool would that be? Make people laugh. But then that little voice of doubt on my shoulder said, but that's not you. But I really wanted to just try it once, just so I didn't regret it later in life. So I went and I got a book on it. I studied the book, I read the book, and I realized through the book that there are actually tools and techniques and formulas that comedians use, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, but there are formulas and rhythms to humor, to set patterns, to break the pattern, to make people laugh. And that's what I discovered. So I became a sponge, and I went to every class I could, and every, studied from every headliner that I could, meaning the best of the best, to learn whatever I can, and eventually I figured it out. And I took all of what I learned over years and concentrated it down into my program, Get More Laughs by Next Week. But I really truly believe anyone can learn it, but you have to at least attempt it. You have to learn the formulas. You can't just take one little class and try it once and say it doesn't work. It's a process. It truly is a process. So if you want more laughs, commit yourself to learning the process.
Next question I will ask is that actually I know that in your Get More Laughs, you mentioned the number one principle is becoming humorous is a process. And the process, I would like to ask, how long will the process be? And how can we get humorous?
I wish I had the perfect answer for you. But the truth of the matter is we're all at different starting points. So it's A, where are you starting from? And B, how much do you apply it? You know, I had heard an old, I don't know if it's true or not, but this is one of the things that inspired me early on in comedy, is that a brand new comedian got to meet Jay Leno. And he told Jay Leno, he said, I'm all excited, I'm just starting out and really trying. And Jay Leno listened and he said, well, how often do you get up on stage? And the new comedian said, well, sometimes once, sometimes twice in a month. And Jay said, great. He said, if you keep up at that rate, in 5 or 6 years, you'll have 5 minutes of good material. You see, what he was saying was not just what, I talk about stage time, but it's not just about stage time, it's what's your stage time rate? How often are you attempting it? Now, you can even attempt humor or comedy principles in one-on-one conversations, in conversation with friends over the phone. Don't tell them I'm trying out a joke on you, but try the story and see how it comes across. See if you get that reaction. But here's the key: is the secret is to not like getting a big laugh. It's not success or failure. You want to look for the cues. That was the difference between me and most Toastmasters early on. Is I would try a new story once, and if at one point where I was trying to get a laugh, someone went, huh, right at the right point, I would get excited. Where an average Toastmaster would just throw it away and start over again. What I understood was one person got the joke. One person saw the change of direction. So what I need to do now is make it clearer so everyone gets it. So that's why I say it's how much you apply yourself. Are you trying it once or twice a month, or are you trying it once or twice a day? I'm just a guy who I joined 4 Toastmaster clubs and went to comedy clubs every night of the week, 6 or 7 nights a week, to be able to get a chance to get up on stage. And I took everyone I could, and I really believe that was the difference for me between success and failure. I never turned down stage time, thanks to my mentor, Vinny Favorito.
And the next question I will ask Darren is, sometimes the speakers will say, I want to be present. I want to have my intention clear. So how can we do that before even getting on the stage?
Great question, Cynthia. As you know, my little Connect card that you have and you carry with you, the 4 questions that I ask myself just before I get on stage. So I always carry it with me too, because I use it as well. But the am I present? It's really the purpose of asking yourself that question is to kind of check in and ask yourself, what are my thoughts right now? Are my thoughts about what's going to happen after the program? What happened with my relationship that day? My parents being sick? What was it? What's going through your mind? So am I present is forgetting about all of the other things that are in your life. Leave them at the door. Don't worry, they'll be there after. You can pick them up, I promise you. But while you're there giving the presentation, while you're even in the room listening to the speakers before you or waiting to be introduced, are you present? Are you seeing the people? What's going on? What's their body language? Are they excited? Are they bored? Are they dreading your presentation because they were forced to go there? So take inventory. So the question, am I present, is getting you focused on that moment, because that's all that matters, and that's what is important to the audience, is that you're there with them. You know, on occasion early on in my career, I've had a presentation or two where I wasn't fully present, and I was saying the words. But just saying the words, even though they're the same words I always say, my delivery was off. The audience couldn't feel my passion and my intention for them because I was just saying the words. Once you ask yourself, am I present? What is my intent? Meaning, what am I trying to do? Am I trying to just give this presentation and get a check? Or am I really trying to affect their lives? Because this is the only time I may be in front of them.
Thank you, Darren. I hope you learned some important tips from this video. And I thank Darren again. Until next time, this is Cynthia.